What's up everybody, Serenity here, and today I'll be talking about the Season 2 called Dustline. I'll be talking about what it brings to the table, but more importantly, how it will change the metagame and the gameplay in general. I'm probably the one with the most playtime on it right now, so I feel confident saying that I have a very good understanding of it. I also had the chance to talk to the game devs a lot, and so I understand their intentions on most of the changes. And also, as you probably saw on the stream, I was invited in Germany to play in the show match and to do the discussion panel. If you didn't see the stream, I'll link it below in the description. Alright, let's get into it. The first operator that I'll talk about is Blackbeard, and I'm pretty sure I know what you guys are thinking of him. I think the fact that I had a pretty good round made the chat a little bit more crazy than I thought it would, but hey, I understand where you guys come from. Most of you seem to think that the shield only blocks headshots, but that's not it. If you can get in a position where only your shoulders and your head is sticking out, you're pretty much invincible. If you've ever played World of Tanks before, think of the T-32. So like every desk in the game, every windows, anywhere you can rappel, anywhere where you're way higher than the enemy, you can prone, every staircase, every half wall, etc. In all of those places, you're invincible. That's obviously a lot of places. And all of those spots, you can lock them down indefinitely. You're also pretty well covered behind a crouched shield. In that position, you're not invincible though. So obviously, he's amazing at cutting reinforcements or rotations. He's also the perfect diffuser defender. He's also pretty good in pretty much any situation, because if you're playing against good enemies and they have good crosshair placement, you should get the drop on them. That makes Blackbeard the perfect operator to dig out those defenders. I also saw a misconception about the shield. A lot of people seem to think that it's destructible. It's not. You know, we tried to put Tachanka against the shield and the shield ate all of the bullets. I saw a thread on Reddit discussing how to counter Blackbeard. Some people suggested the nitro cells, but honestly those almost never work, because remember guys, he's not hip firing a pistol. He's actually aiming down the sight of an AR. Getting close to him to throw a nitro cell on him is not the answer, unless it's through the wall or something. The best way to counter Blackbeard is to flank him. Obviously the attacking team will try to prevent you from doing that, but that's your best bet. The shield is actually pretty straight, so it's surprising how little of an angle you need to be able to shoot him in the face. If he doesn't know where you are and he's not looking straight at you, you should be able to shoot him. There are two disadvantages of having the shield up. Number one, you're much slower, which is the main reason why you would want to remove it if you're moving. Number two, it makes the weapon kick a little harder. Honestly, I didn't really see a difference until someone told me that it was a thing. I wish they made him really inaccurate or something, because as of right now, it's not a big deal. You're never going to see a Blackbeard take off the shield to go for a long range shot. He has two primary weapons. The first one is the Scar H. It's a slow firing but hard hitting weapon, and the second weapon is the MK11. That's the single fire one. I tried both, and to no one's surprise, I preferred the MK17. Introducing Blackbeard to the game will force the defenders to be very proactive about finding his location, because it's a disaster when your team lets him get to a very strong location. And trust me when I say that there's a lot of those if you're creative. Introducing him also promotes a lot of roaming, because if the enemy team locks you down to a certain area, Blackbeard will just chew away all of your teammates one by one. And my favorite effect that he'll have on the game is that he'll be able to shut down most angles that get spammed by both teams over and over again. You know, at one point it just gets frustrating and it's kinda boring to watch. In conclusion, I think that Blackbeard is a must pick right now. I believe that Ubisoft will nerf him down the road. I have no idea when though. The defensive operator is called Valkyrie. She has 4 sticky cameras that the whole team can operate. Honestly, I think 4 is a bit much. I think 3 would be better, but we'll see what the community thinks of it. Her two primary weapons are the SIG MPX and the SPAS 12. The SPAS 12 is actually pretty good. It shoots really quickly, and it's the same thing with the MPX. It shoots as fast as a P90, does 32 damage, and is very controllable. The only downside to the MPX is that you can't mount an ACOG on it. So she can throw those cameras pretty far away, and she can actually throw them outside in the action phase. Those cameras are really good. There's no angle you can't cover, and so you can get really creative with their placements. The one bad effect that I can think of would be someone setting up the cameras to find where the enemy team is spawning and to have like a coordinated spawn kill tactic going on. Apart from that, I think that the cameras will have a very healthy effect on the community. It will promote coordination, communication, the actual preparation to the fight. It will offer so much more intel, and now the defenders will be able to make a lot more decisions, which by the way is a very good thing now that Blackbeard is in the game. The fun thing about Valkyrie is that you can set up some really aggressive strategies and not be punished too hard for it. If you get a pick and die, that's pretty good because the attacker that's dead is most probably useless right now. You, on the other hand, have so much to monitor, and you could be like the team captain overlooking everyone. Of course, anyone can do that, it's just that Valkyrie has such good weapons that she's pretty good at it. Something that not a lot of people know is that each cameras have their own name. And so you could say something like, hey dude, watch Black Eye 2 and cover my back or something. You know, that way it's easier to communicate. Valkyrie is now one of the best passive roamer in the game. You can set up so many ambushes with the cameras that now you should have the drop on the enemy the big majority of the time. You just have to not make a pattern out of your camera placement. Valkyrie has a nitro cell, and so you could set up some pretty cool traps with the cameras. For example, because the nitro cells don't make any noise when they're on the other side of the wall or the floor, you can set up some pretty well hidden traps. You just tell your friend to watch the camera and notice you when the enemies are on top of your nitro cell. And that's so good because your friend could be dead and still be able to do it. You know, Valkyrie will be utilizing dead teammates more than ever before. As you can imagine, the best way to deal with Valkyrie is IQ, and I really feel like her gadget is now going to be useful, because the cameras are honestly hard to find. Like most of the times when it says you've been spotted, I just leave. I don't even try to spot the camera, because I know a roamer is quickly coming in my direction. And that's the kind of pressure that Valkyrie puts on her opponents. You're never really sure if you're being ambushed or not. That makes the game so much more intense. Finally, I'll be talking about the map a little bit. The map is kind of confusing at first because the rooms and corridors sort of look alike, but a good way to learn it quickly is to learn exactly where the room in the center is and try to connect each separate room to this big room in the middle. That way, everything is going to start making sense to you. I like the map in general. It has a lot of destructible surfaces, and I think this adds a lot of replayability to it. The one strategic thing that I see is that there are a lot of like tunnels and bomb sites. And so on this map, as an attacker, the struggle is going to be placing down the diffuser. Defending it will be a piece of cake, especially with Blackbeard on your team. A cool feature about this map is that there's a lot of like empty semicircles above the walls, and so you don't need to breach anything to throw your gadgets or your grenades in there. That's a really cool way to surprise the enemy, because they simply can't hear it coming. Alright, well that's it. Tomorrow I'll have a video reviewing all of the patch notes and explaining what their impact is going to be. Most of them are balance adjustments, and I really like to talk about that kind of stuff. And sorry for the lack of video lately. The reason for that is not gone yet, but it's not as bad as it was, so I should make more videos, but not as much as I would want to. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Let's now get into the arguments against the one-shot headshot. First, at a competitive level, most of the weapons are useless because if it's a one-shot headshot game, all you really need is a gun that shoots quickly and accurately. You know, damage is a negligible stat if you can hit the head. Here's an easy way to visualize this. Imagine there's a ghost right behind you that follows you everywhere you go. It's separated from you ever so slightly. That ghost is where other players see you.